You're not poor because you lack opportunities. You're poor because you haven't learned to master the one thing that controls everything, your mind. Don't fool yourself into thinking that working harder alone is enough. Millions of people work from dawn till dusk and still live in debt, frustration, and stagnation because they try with their hands but never bother to train their thinking. And that's the biggest mistake. Everything you see out there, money, relationships, career, health, is a direct reflection of what's inside you. If you keep thinking you're not good enough, not lucky enough, not qualified enough, you're programming your life to stay empty. But if you start to believe you can change, that you can grow better each day, don't be surprised when your world begins to shift. No one is born with a wealthy mindset. They train it. Just like no one is born with the right habits, strong discipline, or unshakable belief. They build it piece by piece. And so can you. The question is, do you have the courage to stop blaming and start digging deep into yourself? Your mind is either a machine for miracles or a trap that keeps you stepping on your own limits every day without even knowing it. Some people go through their entire lives never realizing they've been imprisoned by their own thinking. They don't dare to leave their comfort zone. They let fear dictate their choices. They follow advice from people who've never achieved anything significant, and they call it reality. Reality is not a fixed thing. It's something you create through your thoughts, beliefs, and daily actions. If you believe you can't, you'll find proof of that everywhere. If you believe you can, you'll find the way, not because the world changes, but because you've changed the way you see the world. No one out there is responsible for your future. No one is forcing you to live an average life, and no one can save you if you're not willing to save yourself. Everything starts when you're willing to face the truth, to confront the way you think, and have the courage to change it. You can't have a new life if you keep dragging around old thinking. You can't live a breakthrough life if your mind is still filled with limiting questions like, am I really capable? Can someone like me really do this? What if I fail? Those are the questions that kill potential before you even begin. Change the question. Ask, what might happen if I truly give it everything I've got? Who can help me go further? How do I become someone who's irreplaceable? Because the quality of the questions you ask yourself every day is the quality of the life you'll live. And most people don't think. They just react. They live by habit, by fear, by impulse. Then they blame fate. The truth is, fate doesn't care about you, but your mindset does. It's the most dangerous weapon if left unchecked, but also the most powerful tool if you learn to master it. You can learn every wealth-building strategy in the world, read hundreds of self-help books, listen to thousands of hours of podcasts, but if your mindset doesn't change, you're just painting over a broken system, like putting premium fuel into a car with a leaking engine. It's not going far. Every success you see out there, financial, spiritual, or physical, begins with silent shifts in mindset. The wealthy aren't different from you because they have more money. They're different because they see life through a completely different mental map. They see opportunity where others see risk. They see lessons where others see failure. They take action while others hesitate. And most of all, they believe they are the root of all results. And you can start from exactly that point, believing you have the power to change everything if you begin inside your own mind. Not tomorrow, not when things get better, but right now, in the very moment you're reading these words, pause for a minute, ask yourself, who am I programming myself to become? If the answer doesn't make you proud, then it's time to rewrite the program. Don't wait for inspiration. Don't wait for someone to hand you a chance. Your mind doesn't wait for anyone to function. It's running, whether you're steering it or not. So take control of it before it drags you back to the very place you're trying to escape. Want real wealth? Want real freedom? Start from the only place that can take you anywhere, within, not something external, not luck, not someone else's help, just you and the way you think. The world doesn't change just because you hope it will. It changes when you become the kind of person who can create change. And that journey begins with the one thing you always had the power to control, but have rarely used the right way, your mind. You're not stuck because of your circumstances. You're stuck because of the habit of blaming. Every time you say because of, you're taking your hands off the steering wheel of your life. You're handing over control to someone or something outside your reach. And then you stand there powerless, waiting for a miracle to pull you out of the mud. But life has no miracles for those who run away, only outcomes for those who dare to face the truth. You blame your parents for not teaching you how to build wealth. You blame your boss for not giving you opportunities. You blame the government, the market, the education system. You even blame your ex for killing your motivation. And all of that may sound reasonable. It may sound real. But that very reasonableness is what's binding you. It lulls you into a subtle comfort zone, the comfort zone of the victim. Because in the role of the victim, you don't have to do anything. You just raise your hand and point out why your life isn't working. You don't have to change. You just complain. And down you spiral. Here's the hard truth. As long as you're blaming, you're losing power. You cannot blame and be in control of the outcome at the same time. Those two things do not coexist. If you want the power to change anything, you must take 100% responsibility. Not 90%, not only when it's easy, a full 100%. Even when everything is falling apart. I used to blame, just like you. I used to believe my failures were because someone held me back, or because I was born in the wrong place at the wrong time. Then one day, a mentor looked at me without an ounce of pity and said, as long as you're blaming, you're not ready for success. That sentence wasn't easy to swallow, but it changed me because I realized that blaming doesn't help you understand the problem, and it helps you delay solving it. When you start taking responsibility, the first thing you'll feel is the weight, because there's no one left to blame. Every mistake, every delay, every failure, you own it all. But then you discover something deeper. In taking responsibility, you reclaim the power you once lost. You no longer wait for someone to rescue you. You no longer need the world to be easier. You just need to become stronger. And that strength doesn't come from muscle. It comes from a decision, the decision to stop complaining and start acting. When you take responsibility, you don't say, I don't have time. You say, I haven't prioritized correctly. You don't say, I don't know how. You say, I'll learn. You don't say, I was rejected. You say, I'll persist until I'm accepted. Your language changes. And when your language changes, your thinking changes. And when your thinking changes, your results begin to shift. Successful people don't have perfect lives. They're not immune to pain, failure, or unfairness. They just have a different reflex than you. They respond with responsibility, not blame. When they face hardship, they ask, what can I do? Instead of, why is this happening to me? Same situation, but one side steps back, the other steps forward. One loses control, the other takes back the wheel. You'd be amazed at what happens in your life from just one small shift. Stop blaming. Starting today, whatever happens, good or bad, take responsibility. Not to take the blame, but to take the power. The power to decide, the power to adjust, the power to act. The truth is, you can't control the past. You can't control what others have done to you, but you always control how you respond. And that response defines who you are. People who fail live inside the if only narrative. If only I had been born into a rich family. If only I hadn't been betrayed. If only someone had helped me. But the world doesn't reward. It rewards people who turn the present into an asset. People who use what they have, even if it's little, to create what they want. You can choose to keep playing the victim. It's the easiest role, familiar, low responsibility. But don't expect life to pay for a role anyone can play. If you want to write a different script, you need to step onto a different stage where you are the director, the lead actor, the one responsible for every scene. I'm not saying you have to do everything alone. I'm saying you must take responsibility before any help can truly matter. Because if you don't take ownership, every piece of advice, every opportunity, every open door will slip through your hands without leaving a trace. You can't hold on to something you're not ready to carry. Look again at everything you have, your job, your relationships, your health, your finances. Don't say it's because of the circumstances. Ask yourself, how did I create this? That question isn't to blame yourself. It's to unlock the door to action. And when you dare to ask, you'll start to see the choices you've overlooked, the habits you've ignored, the opportunities you've dodged out of fear. No one succeeds by blaming forever. Success isn't born from resentment, it's born from one simple choice: to own the outcome. Step by step, day by day, starting exactly where you are. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to take responsibility. You cannot fix what you haven't accepted as yours. And you can't go far if you keep blaming the car. If you want to break through, take the wheel. Start driving. Start owning it. Not just because you need results, but because you deserve to become the person with the power to create them. You're not poor because you lack money. You're poor because you see the world as if everything is running out. When you live with a scarcity mindset, someone else's success feels like a threat. You believe that if they have, you will lose. If they win, you will fall behind. If they move forward, you'll be left behind. And you don't realize that very belief is the chain holding you back from every real opportunity. Scarcity thinking is silent but destructive. It makes you afraid to invest because what if I lose it all? It keeps you from sharing because what if others are better than me? It makes you jealous of others' success instead of curious to learn. It makes you turn down open doors because you're afraid of what lies behind them: risk, exposure, pain. Scarcity thinking doesn't kill you instantly. It just quietly makes you live a life far smaller than what you're capable of. But not everyone is trapped. People with an abundance mindset see the world through a completely different lens. They don't see the pie as having only a few slices. They see the ability to bake hundreds more if needed. They don't ask, is there enough for me? They ask, how can I create more? They don't view other people's success as a threat. They see it as proof that it's entirely possible. And that difference doesn't lie in circumstances. It lies in perception. You can live your whole life in the same environment, but when your mindset changes, your responses will too. A person with a scarcity mindset hears rejection and thinks they're not good enough. A person with an abundance mindset hears the same rejection and thinks, they haven't seen my value yet, I'll prove it. Same situation, but belief shapes perspective, and perspective drives results. The rich aren't wealthy because they're smarter. They're wealthy because they dare to believe in their ability to generate unlimited value. They understand that money is a flow, not a destination. That opportunity is infinite for those creative enough to spot it and brave enough to seize it. They don't ask, what can I take from this market? They ask, what can I contribute that makes me impossible to ignore? That's why they become irreplaceable. And so can you, if you dare to change your thinking, scarcity mindset always makes you feel like you don't have enough. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough connections, not enough skills. But the truth is, you already have more than you think. You just haven't learned how to use it. You have time, but you spend it on things that don't help you grow. You have money, but you burn it on short-term pleasures and impressing others instead of investing in yourself. You have relationships, but you only take, you don't give. You have skills, but you let them sleep, thinking you'll use them someday. It's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of mindset to use your resources. Abundant thinking begins with a simple belief: everything can be multiplied if I learn to create value. You don't need to take someone else's share, you just need to create your own. Competition is not the goal, contribution is the strategy. Others becoming rich doesn't mean you become poor. If you see someone succeed, celebrate, because you've just seen an example, not a rival. You can't build anything big if your mind is full of limits. A great business isn't born from someone afraid of losing money. A masterpiece isn't written by someone afraid of being criticized. A life worth being proud of doesn't come from someone who constantly thinks, don't dream too big. You weren't born to shrink, you were born to expand. But you'll never reach the world if you keep thinking the world is too small for you. Changing your mindset isn't about blind positivity. It's about seeing the limits of your old thinking and replacing it with a new framework. When you begin to believe that every problem has a solution, every failure carries a lesson, every successful person leaves clues, you'll naturally step in deeper, learn faster, and persist longer. And the results won't come from luck. They'll come because you changed your thinking before you changed your actions. If you want financial freedom, career autonomy, and confidence in life, you need to retrain how you think about everything, starting today. Anytime you catch yourself comparing, fearing loss, fearing lack, fearing others are ahead of you, pause. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me grow or shrink? If it makes you retreat, you're living with a scarcity mindset. If it pushes you to create more, be stronger, contribute more, you're shifting into abundance. Don't spend your life fighting for a slice of a pie someone else already cut. Learn how to bake a new one. The world doesn't lack resources. It only lacks people with the clarity to see them and the grit to act. Abundance mindset doesn't come after success. It comes before. It's the foundation. And if you're consistent in building it every day through small decisions, small reactions, small investments, you'll gain a life far bigger than you ever dared to dream. No one teaches you this in school. No one holds your hand and shows you the difference between these two mindsets. But now you know. And once you know, you have no reason to keep living the same way. You don't have to wait for someone to give you more. You just need to become someone who can create more. That's the silent but radical transformation. No noise, no show, but powerful enough that one day when you look back, you won't even recognize your old self. And it all starts not from a lucky break, but from a mental pivot, from scarcity to abundance. You're not lacking money, you just haven't learned how to use money the right way. Most people aren't poor because they can't earn, they're poor because of how they spend. They burn through money, chasing short-term satisfaction, then complain about not having enough. They call it treating themselves, but in reality, they're draining their future with every small, unconscious, repetitive decision. And then they blame circumstances. But circumstances don't swipe your card for you. You're the one signing every receipt that leads to the life you're living now. Spending money is easy. Anyone can do that. But investing is different. Investing requires vision. It requires discipline. And most importantly, it requires you to stop behaving like someone who lives only for today. When you spend money, you ask, will this make me happy right now? But when you invest, you ask, will this make me more valuable over time? One question leads to a life of depletion. The other leads to a life of return. You may have bought expensive shoes just to feel confident for one night, but have you ever bought a $20 0 cents book and read it thoroughly, line by line, to upgrade your thinking, the very thing that could lead you to hundreds of income opportunities? You've spent money on vacations to distress, but have you ever spent money to learn how to create passive income so you wouldn't have to live in stress anymore? It's not that you don't have money. It's that you've only used money to live, not to build. The rich aren't just good at earning, they're good at keeping, they're good at allocating. They understand that $1 can either be a seed or a slice of cake. A seed, once planted, sprouts, bears fruit, and creates more resources. A slice of cake, once eaten, is gone. The rich always choose to plant. The average person chooses to eat. And that choice, repeated daily, creates a gap no complaint can close. You might earn the same as a wealthy person, but if you spend to impress while they invest to grow, then in just 1 year, you'll still be in the same place, and there'll be a whole new level. Because they understand that value doesn't lie in the item you buy, but in the potential it unlocks. An expensive phone doesn't make you smarter, but a new skill can double your income. A fancy meal doesn't make you more refined, but a high-quality network can transform your career forever. Money doesn't have emotions. It doesn't care whether you use it to impress others or to invest in your future, but money has memory. It remembers where it flows, and it returns to the places that know how to make it grow. If all you do is spend, money will come and go. But if you know how to invest, money will come, multiply, and invite more opportunities along. Because money seeks out places with the power to grow it. Money is water, you are the river. Either you let it pass meaninglessly, or you learn to channel it to irrigate the field of your life. You don't have to start with big investments. Investing is a way of life, not a specific amount. When you choose to eat at home to save and spend that money learning a new skill, that's investing. When you spend time listening to podcasts instead of watching mindless TV, that's investing. When you build the habit of tracking expenses, taking financial notes, teaching yourself how to understand cash flow, that's investing. And every small act proves that you're thinking like a builder, not just a consumer. Consumers live to satisfy current needs. Investors live to build capacity for the future. And that difference is why investors become freer over time, why consumers become increasingly dependent. Consumers live in a loop: earn, spend, run out, run, repeat. Investors live in a spiral of expansion: learn, apply, generate, upgrade, scale. If you want to change your life, don't start by trying to earn more. Start by using the money you already have more wisely. Before you buy anything, ask, will this make me better, stronger, more valuable over time? If the answer is no, stop. Not because you're stingy, but because you've chosen to live like an investor, not a person chasing impulsive feelings. And if there's one place truly worth investing in right now, it's yourself. No asset on earth yields a more sustainable return than a person committed to upgrading themselves continuously. You can lose money in the market, you can lose your home in a crisis, but if you've invested the right way in skills, knowledge, mindset, you can always rebuild. And next time, faster, stronger, deeper. Poor people think, when I have more money, I'll start investing. Rich people think, because I invest, I have more money. If you're waiting to have extra before you begin, you'll never begin. Because spending thinking always spends it all. Only investment thinking makes you save, then multiply. Wealth doesn't start from a large number. It starts from one small but intentional decision today, right now, and repeated long enough to become a lifestyle. And one day you'll look back at yourself and realize you didn't become rich from winning the lottery or hitting a lucky break. You became rich because you stopped using money to buy feelings and started using money to build value. You learned to wait, to analyze, to plant, and the result is a life not just abundant, but sustainable, free, and independent of anyone else. From now on, stop spending to impress the world. Start investing to master your own world. Every dollar you spend is a vote for the life you want to live. Cast your vote wisely. Invest like someone who understands that true value doesn't lie in what you buy, but in who you become when you learn to use money as a tool for bigger goals. You're not falling behind because you're not smart. You're falling behind because you've missed too many opportunities to learn while spending too much time on entertainment. No one is born knowing everything, but everyone has the right to learn, to understand, and to upgrade themselves every single day. The question is, are you using your free time to move forward or just to drift? Entertainment isn't wrong. It helps you relax, recharge, and find balance. But when entertainment becomes your default habit, when you spend 3 hours every evening scrolling aimlessly, when you burn through entire weekends binge watching series without learning anything new, you're giving away the most precious gift of your life to the cheapest things, consumption without return. And that's why you remain stuck while others keep moving forward. Successful people don't have more time than you. They have the same 24 hours in a day, but they allocate time like investors. They spend their free hours reading, listening, researching, asking big questions. They turn quiet moments in life into breakthroughs in thinking. While others scroll their phones waiting for coffee, they play a short business podcast. While others drive in silence or listen to music, they turn their car into a mobile classroom. Through audiobooks, audio courses, or high-quality interviews, they don't learn when they have time, they make time to learn. And that's how they pull ahead without burning out. I used to be like you. I used to spend my evenings de-stressing with movies, social media, and games. I used to think I needed to relax first. Learning could wait. But the truth is, when you delay learning, you also delay your own success. I didn't need more working hours. I needed a new mindset. And I only got it when I began to learn like my life depended on it, not waiting for inspiration, not waiting for the perfect time. There's nothing wrong with watching a good movie, but too many people are watching films others created instead of writing the script of their own lives. Too many know the schedule of every game show, but don't know how to create a basic financial plan. Some can recite every character from a long-running series, but can't name 5 books that changed their life. That imbalance doesn't come from laziness. It comes from choosing what's easy over what's valuable. Your mind is soil. Whatever you plant, it will grow. If you keep feeding it shallow, sensational, cheap entertainment, don't expect it to produce deep, innovative, or creative ideas. Sharp thinking doesn't grow on its own. It's the result of training your mind to think deeply every day. And the only thing that allows you to do that is self-education beyond school walls. Education is no longer a privilege of the wealthy. You don't need a classroom. You just need a phone and the ability to choose the right content. The world has put an entire library of knowledge in your pocket. The question is, will you open a personal development podcast or get trapped in endless TikTok loops? Will you watch a video on long-term investing or a montage of loud edited drama? The difference doesn't lie in the tools. It lies in your awareness. Value doesn't come from how much you know, it comes from how you use that knowledge to create change. A book doesn't make you smarter if you just read it and forget it. A lecture doesn't bring results unless you apply it. But if you're willing to learn with an action mindset, learning to shift your thinking, make better decisions, understand yourself more clearly, design better strategies, then every piece of knowledge you absorb becomes a puzzle piece that builds your best self. Don't learn to memorize, learn to apply, learn to ask better questions, learn to see what others can't. Because in a world where everyone is busy, scrolling fast, and living in a rush, the one who stops to learn is the only one who can truly go far. You don't need to be a scholar, you just need to live like someone who understands every minute invested in self-education shortens the distance to freedom. When others treat learning as an obligation, treat it as a weapon. When others find books boring, see them as unopened vaults of wealth. When others spend on luxury to upgrade their image, spend on skills to upgrade your value. Those with a learning mindset never fall behind because they never stop growing, they never stop adapting, they never stop expanding their limits. And in a world changing faster than ever, those who don't learn every day will be left behind as if they're walking backward. From today, reevaluate how you use your time, count the hours you spend on entertainment, and try converting just 20% of it into learning. You don't need to do a lot, just be consistent. Each day, learn one thing. Each week, read one chapter. Each month, finish one book. And if you do that long enough, you'll own a weapon no one can take away from you. A mind that is sharpened, clear, and constantly evolving. Want to lead? Learn more than others are willing to. Want to be wealthy? Understand more than others dare to. Want to be free? Equip yourself with enough knowledge to never rely on anyone else again. Because the right knowledge doesn't just help you earn money, it helps you keep it, grow it, and live a life no one can control except you. Entertainment gives you a good feeling in the moment. Education gives you a good life forever. What you choose is up to you. But the future will always reflect that choice with no mercy. You're not lacking motivation, you're just lacking a vision big enough to keep you going when everything gets hard. Goals can help you get started, but only vision keeps you steady when motivation runs dry, emotions fade, and results have yet to show. Because a goal is merely a destination. A vision, however, is the map of the entire journey, where you know where you're going, why you must go, and who you'll become along the way. Most people live with a checklist mindset. They set small goals, lose 5 kilos, earn an extra 10 million, read 3 books, and they try to check them off. But once the goal is done, they feel empty. They don't know what comes next. They live in short, disconnected bursts without a thread tying everything together, and eventually they get tired. They ask themselves, why am I doing all of this? For what? That's when they stop. Not because they're weak, but because they lack a big enough reason to continue. Vision is entirely different. It's not a to-do list. It's a vivid image of the person you want to become, deep, emotional, and powerful enough that just thinking about it makes you feel like you have to act. Vision doesn't just answer, what do you want? It also answers, why does that matter so much to you? Who will benefit from what you're doing? What will your life mean if you actually achieve that? Goals keep you busy. Vision gives you direction. Goals help you run fast. Vision helps you run in the right direction. You can complete 100 small goals and still go nowhere if there's no overarching picture tying them together. But a single clear vision can carry you through a long, sustainable journey without getting lost. I've met many people who work extremely hard, grinding from morning to night, trying to finish everything on their plate. But when I ask, what's the end goal? They go silent. They don't know. They only know they have to keep going. And because they don't know where they're headed, they always feel something is missing. They feel empty. They feel tired. Because when you don't have a destination, every journey feels heavy. On the other hand, when your vision runs deep enough, you don't need anyone to push you. It's the vision itself that gets you up every morning. Vision comes from within. No one forces it. No one commands it. It's what drives you to go beyond fear, push past procrastination, endure loneliness, and keep going when no one's watching. Because you know if not you, then no one else can bring this vision to life. And when you carry a vision like that inside, you don't move because you have to. You move because you can't not. But vision doesn't arrive by sitting still. It comes when you dare to look deeply within and answer honestly, who do I want to be 5 years from now? What do I want to be known for? How do I want the people I love to live, thanks to the effort I'm putting in today? Those questions aren't comfortable. They strip away the surface and force you to face the core of it all, why you exist. And once you've touched that level, nothing can stop you. The goal gets you to act today, but a vision gets you to act every day, every week, every month, even when no one notices, no one supports you, and the results aren't visible yet, because you know you're not doing this to be seen. You're doing it because it's a non-negotiable part of the journey you were born to walk. And if you don't yet have a strong enough vision, don't worry. It doesn't have to appear perfectly formed. You just need to start writing. Each sentence, each paragraph, each detail, once put on paper, will pull you closer to the clearest version of yourself. Don't overthink, just write. Write with emotion, write with heart, write for your own eyes. Keep writing until that vision becomes so real you can't help but chase it. Then speak it out loud, say it, repeat it every day, post it on your wall, save it to your phone, set it as a morning reminder, not because you'll forget, but because you need to stay constantly reconnected with what makes you feel most alive. Because the world out there will keep pulling you off course with shiny distractions, fast money, short-term wins, the illusion of safety. And only when you're rooted in a strong vision will you stay undistracted. People without vision blame their circumstances. People with vision adjust themselves. People without vision get tired because they don't see meaning. People with vision may get physically exhausted, but their mind stays energized by a why too powerful to be extinguished. People without vision live in reaction. People with vision live as deliberate architects of their future. You want to know why seemingly ordinary people achieve extraordinary things? Because they don't live on motivation, they live on direction. And that direction comes from a vision they've crafted, protected, and nurtured like a flame they'll never let die. And you can too. If you're just willing to pause, ask yourself the big questions, and start redrawing the map of your life in a way no one ever taught you before. From today on, stop asking, what should I do next? Start asking, who do I want to become? Because once you know who you're aiming to be, every decision becomes easier. You'll know what to learn, what to let go of, who to walk with, what to walk away from, and where to invest your time each day. When your vision is clear, your path will light up. And when that light is burning inside you, no darkness out there can ever make you lose your way. You don't fail because you're not good enough. You fail because you're too impatient. You want everything to happen fast. Fast money, fast results, fast success. But what comes quickly is also what's easiest to lose. And life has never favored those who live only to chase instant gratification. It always rewards those who understand long-term strategy is what keeps you standing when everything else collapses. The want it now, get it now mindset is a double-edged sword. It makes you believe that if results don't show up immediately, you must be doing something wrong. It causes you to quit early just because you haven't seen progress yet. It pushes you to jump from one opportunity to another, from one idea to the next, never staying long enough to go deep and create something truly meaningful. And you don't realize that success doesn't follow your emotions. It follows the laws of time, discipline, and accumulation. Those who chase quick fixes often choose what's easy: easy food, easy fun, easy comfort, easy likes on social media. But what's easy brings sensation, not results. What's easy makes you happy for a moment, but makes you pay for it in the long run. In contrast, those who live with long-term strategy embrace what's hard, what's slow, what's quiet, in exchange for something deeper. Freedom, not superficial freedom, but internal freedom, where you're no longer pulled by temptation, no longer dependent on what others think, no longer chasing flashy things just to feel valuable. I spent years trapped in the loop of instant gratification. Every time I was stressed, I reached for something to relieve it: food, movies, shopping. Every time I accomplished a little, I rewarded myself by stopping, by resting too soon. I thought that's enough. But the truth was, I hadn't gotten anywhere. I had only done a fraction of the work and convinced myself it was done. I lived as if I had all the time in the world, but that mindset made me slower, shallower, and more exhausted than ever. until I started learning to think differently. I stopped asking, is this fun? Is this exciting? Do people like me for this? I started asking, does this take me where I really want to go? Does it make me stronger, more self-reliant, more grounded? And that was the first shift from emotional living to strategic living. Long-term strategy is not sacrifice. It's a wise choice. You don't have to give up all pleasure. You just have to choose a pleasure that's deep, meaningful, and able to recharge you instead of depleting you. You don't have to work like a machine, but you do need to be alert enough to know when to work, when to rest, and to never let emotions dictate your entire schedule. Look at people who are truly successful, and you'll see one thing in common. They're not swept away by the speed of the crowd. They don't chase trends. They build slowly, brick by brick, on solid foundations. While others rush to build castles on sand, they understand this truth. Consistency gets no applause, but it always delivers results. This long-term strategy is not a 20-year detailed plan. It's a mindset you apply daily when making decisions. When others spend money to impress, you use money to accumulate. When others stop early because they're too tired, you finish the hardest part of your day before resting. When others invest in entertainment, you invest in skill, and quietly you begin to rise without needing anyone to notice. Without needing validation, you need only one thing: real results. If you truly want freedom, learn to delay gratification. Every time you say no to the easy path, you open the door to something extraordinary. Every time you act without waiting for motivation, you're building the muscle of willpower. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're proving that you are trustworthy. Every time you choose strategy over impulse, you dig the foundation deeper for the house of success you'll one day live in. You don't have to wait 5 years to see results. You'll see the shift in just a few months if you're disciplined enough. You'll feel it in how you make decisions, in your ability to focus, in the depth of your thinking and the strength of your mind. And one day you'll look back at the people who once moved faster, earned more, shine brighter, and you'll realize you've gone farther, lasted longer, and finally mastered yourself. Life doesn't ask what you want right now. It asks what you're willing to do for what's truly worth it later. And most people fail, not because they lack ability, but because they quit too soon, not realizing the reward was just around the corner. They trade long-term strategy for short-term pleasure. They choose comfort in the moment and end up living with silent regret forever. You're different. You've made it to the end of this thought journey. You know that anything truly worthwhile takes time. So starting today, act like someone building something meant to outlast them. Don't burn energy on things that leave no trace. Don't choose feeling over outcome. Don't live as if tomorrow won't come, because it absolutely will. And it will ask you, what did you do today to deserve the life you dream of? Long-term strategy isn't glamorous, but it's the only path to sustainable success. And if you're wise enough to choose it, even when everyone around you is taking shortcuts, then you won't just arrive. You'll arrive with the posture of someone who never needed luck, because you built your entire life on a foundation nothing can shake.